We were doing those little bumpers, So I think we told a whole story in 1 minute, split up into 20-second segments. And James L. Brooks had this idea that he wanted there to be a cartoon before each commercial break. And there were three commercial breaks perhaps at that time in an hour-long show. And they had built a sound booth behind the audience bleachers. And we would go at the end of, Nancy Cartwright and I were the only ones who weren't actually on the Tracey Ullman show. Dan Castellaneta and Julie Kavner were already, they just were like, hey, you want to do this extra thing? Like, yeah, okay, sure, no problem. So we were in this makeshift sound booth behind the audience bleachers, which wasn't soundproof at all.
It was totally makeshift.
Totally.
So, yeah.
And Matt would come flying in, always late, with the pages of the script. And then we would do it. And mostly I was just there as a foil for Bart. My character wasn't really, wasn't really evolved. There was a whole pool of actors, however small, but who worked regularly, did everything. They did all the animated films, although there were many fewer at that time, but they did the Disney cartoons and the Saturday morning cartoons, and so, but I wasn't a part of that. Nancy was, because she had studied with Dawes Butler, who was a voiceover artist, but Dan Castellaneta wasn't, but he had done Second City, so I think he'd done a lot of sort of sketch comedy and different voices, but Julie wasn't. And I honestly think part of it was that nobody who did The Simpsons had ever done animated, right? Like Matt's Life in Hell was for the newspaper, it was a cartoon, but stagnant. So nobody had done actual animation. Jim Brooks had never done animation. So they were like, well, why wouldn't you do it the way you do a regular sitcom? So we still record all together like an old radio play, which is very unusual. And again, we've always done it that way. And I do believe it's because Jim Brooks said, well, that's how you do it when you do Mary Tyler Moore, or you do Bob Newhart, or you do Tracey Ullman.